Perfect.
They're not like this. If I was making an incision this way, I'd be standing there. Okay, so they're always this way in front of you. So we're always working from your side to my side, or my side to your side. We're never going back and forth this way. We're always going back and forth this way. And just like tennis, there's a forehand and a backhand. This is forehand when I go like that. Backhand is when I turn the needle the other way and it goes back like that. We'll do backhands later. Right now everything's forehand. If you ever play tennis, forehands are always easier. More control, so do forehands every chance you get. Okay, I think we're ready. So imagine there's an incision right here. I'm going to be on the far side of the incision and curl the needle through to the other side. And because there is no incision, normally I've got thumb forceps in my other hand, picking up the edge so I can see where my needle tip is going. Now I can't because I got no edge. So I'm just going to push it through, which is okay. Okay, I buried it too deep. So I'm going to back it out. Going less deep and curl it through. It's a taper needle, so it's tougher to get through this stuff. I'm going to never grab the tip of the needle with your gloved hand. You'll poke through your glove. So grab the tip of the needle with your needle holders and curl it out. Novices tend to want to yank it out. Well, this has got to be curled out. So always curl it out. And always follow the curl to push it through. Don't force it. At this point, I'm going to let go with the needle holders after I pulled it out, go to my free hand and gather extra slack. If you do this, you're going to hit the light up here or hit somebody else. So you want to get in the habit of not pulling like this, but keeping your hand down here and gathering. Okay. The incisions between these two ends. Pretend this forms a V. Can you imagine that those two strands form a V? Your instrument always goes inside the V when we make knots. Remember, we're going to start with 2 throws to make a surgeon's knot. So I'm going to put it in the V, go once and twice around my instrument, grab the free end of the suture, and now that free end, which is on Lauren's side, has to come to me to make the knot. Okay? And notice I'm pulling close to the skin. I'm not pulling up here. If you make an even tension, look when I don't do any tug, that knot actually wants to lay straight. If I pull it so that it's sitting evenly in the suture, it wants to lay straight. That's the way you want it to lay down, flat. If it starts twisting or misaligning, it's probably because you're pulling one too far or one too hard, not evenly. You're not evenly pulling it down. Normally I'm not grabbing it way out here. It's like tying your shoes out here. But I'm doing it so my hands are out of the way. So when you practice, don't be way out here tying. Be in here tying. So the V in 2 throws. That's a surgeon's knot. Again, it helps this from spreading apart now. To make this a square knot, I need to do another knot on top of it, a half or simple knot, just like you do with your tennis shoe. Now, this isn't standing up anymore, but it's still forming a V, pretend. So put this in the V, do 1 loop, come over and grab the free end. Now, to make this a square knot, this free end has to switch sides every time. Okay, so notice the loop I'm making, that's even tension going down. Because this free end started here, second time it went there, now it's back to there. I'm making my square knots because this is flipping side every time. So if you're thinking, which way do I end up pulling? Because after doing this a few times, you're going to go, uh-oh, which way do I pull this? Well, it has to go to the opposite side. That's 1 square knot. Surgeon's knot and a half knot, or simple knot, form a surgeon's knot. Now, you always have to do 2 square knots to complete a stitch. So I need another square knot. I'm not starting off needing a lot of friction, so instead of, here's the V, instead of 2 throws, I'm just in the V, 1 throw, grab the tip, pull it evenly. You want to see that nice circle that loop go down.
That was a square knot, right?
That
I'm
was a
just trying to
half
get
knot.
That's a half knot, and you are making a square knot.
Right, and this last knot in the V, 1 loop, that free end has to go the opposite way. That now completes the square knot.
2 half knots.
So I've got 4 knots there altogether, right?
Mm-hmm.
2 of them, square knot and a square knot were made. If I did them in order, surgeon's knot, simple knot, simple knot, simple knot, and live long and prosper. So think of it as 4 knots if you want. Ultimately, because these become square knots, it's really 2 knots. 2 knots. Square knot is made up of 2 knots. You got 2 square knots, so these 4 knots are going to tie. Okay, one more time. Placing the tip of the jaws, I should have said that. Don't go way up on the jaw. Place it towards the tip. You'll have much more gripping power. And usually one ratchet holds it. Sometimes you have to ratchet it more in the cheaper instruments. You guys be practicing with cheaper instruments. So on the opposite side of the incision than where I am at, I'm going to make a bite. You call that a bite when that tip starts coming out. I'm going to grab it and curl it out. Take up the slack in my other hand. I'm going to go in the V, do 2 throws. Grab the free end with even tension, lay that flat. When I say lay that flat again, I'm not pulling up like this. Lay flat. In the V, make 1 throw. That's a square knot. I'll start my second square knot. And what's going to happen to many of you is that short piece right here will tighten up really fast. So you really got to catch up with this long strand first to make it an even knot. So I may watch you and say, oh, you're making a half edge. Half edge, it's because the short piece tightens up so quick, you got to catch up a little faster with that free hand. Again, normally I'm probably in here holding it, so I'm closer inside. When we're done today, I want you to take all the sutures out. I'll try to get some sutures in here if they're not in here, so that it's a blank piece for the next person. Okay? What I need everybody to do is grab a piece of foam.